Jett is a quite popular character, if not the most popular or flashy character that people want to learn how to play, but also the one that I feel a lot of people are playing wrong with, especially when it comes to her smokes, because they're not as logical or obvious as something like an Omen or a Brimstone or even an Astra. So that's what we're going to cover today, how not to suck on Jett, and specifically how to use her smokes correctly, getting more out of her abilities so you can easier carry, rank up, and have fun on that agent. Hello, beautiful, love the game. As always, my name is Jonal. A like on the video greatly helps out against YouTube algorithm. Same goes for dropping down a comment if you have any tips for new Jett players or players that play Jett but kind of want to improve on her. If you have any tips that you use to get better at her that you see a lot of people don't do, or just in general have anything like really great advice, drop them down in the comment section. It's the best place to help other people of the community. I also read them and I take those feedback. Sometimes there's a lot of time actually that people have opinions or tricks that I didn't know about or that I haven't focused that much on that I use and bring on into other videos. So thank you so much for dropping your tips and helping out the community in that comment section. And of course, if you like this type of content, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. My Twitter, my Twitch is linked down in the description together with my Discord server. But outside of that, let's just really begin. Now, when it comes to Jett, what we really want to focus on is how fast she can deploy her smokes. Even though they only last for 4.5 seconds, it is the fast deployment time of her that allows Jett to be so aggressive. And it can be used quite easily for 4 simple ways. And number 1 is just to block angles, use it essentially as a regular smoke. However, this needs to be used in different ways than something like a Brimstone, as you can't deploy all of them very quickly and they don't stay for long enough. The deploy, like you can't block off all the angles to a side and then rush in, because by the time you've blocked off all the angles and are ready to go in, your smokes has disappeared. The other one is to help yourself claim space, normally by entering with your dash. Using your smokes to help yourself enter is really, really important. And I will show how to do this. What's important when we're using our smokes aggressively when we are pushing into sight and using it to kind of manipulate vision on the map is that we know how to play around our own smokes. So I'll talk a little bit about that. The third one is to create one-ways for duels, and the last one is to use it as a safety net so you can play aggressively. And those are like the 4 simple ways on how we can use Jett smokes. And let's take some real examples from maps on how to do this. Now, a lot of people actually don't know how to properly use smokes in choke points and how to play around them, which actually leads to a lot of like Omen and Brimstones ending up smoking really poorly, which actually gives the enemy team an advantage by the way that they're smoking. So here is an example. Like if you want to push through tubes here on Icebox, there are a couple of ways that you can, if you're defending, right, what you want to do, right, if you want to smoke this, is that you smoke it off like this, right, where you can hold this angle and you can kind of see if they're going through. And the whole point is, of course, that when they enter, is that they, of course, the screen is white here, but my body is kind of peeking out. And therefore, the guy holding the smoke should have the advantage. Now, what some people, for some reason, decide to do is to smoke something like this. And the issue is you can see how much space that you leave here that a guy can walk up. So if I'm kind of coming through here, I can smoke like this and I can go here and then I can peek aggressively from that angle. If I'm entering the side, of course, I can do it even better as myself. If I want to not like dry peek this, but I want to smoke to give myself some space, I can drop a quick smoke here and then I can kind of walk up and around behind my own smokes to create whatever angles I want to create, instead of me having to kind of just like hope that I can take the smoke, especially in the choke point that's this tight, where it's difficult for me to peek them without them seeing me first. Doing something like here where I just curve a quick smoke and kind of go through myself can be very, very beneficial. And if you have a flasher with you, like a Phoenix, for example, it can also help him, of course, get up much closer to flash the entire side instead of him kind of like sitting here and then trying to curve it and then not having to hit this thing, right? It also allows smokers on your team to help you enter the site better. So when you're dropping your smokes as a Jett, remember that you can kind of drop them and then you can kind of play around the outskirts of the smoke to take a different position. So it can be really nice both to cross, but also it can be really nice for you as a Jett player to enter sites or take a better position when you're going through a choke point, or abuse the opponent's smokes when they smoke you off to claim more space instead of doing what their smokes are supposed to, and that's denying you that space. So always remember to play that you can play around the edges of your smoke instead of just having, you don't have to always just run through it like an idiot. Now my first example is here on Bind. It's just an easy way to use smokes to deny angles while clearing out hookah. Now what's important of course that normally you will have teammates with you that can, you know, use their utility as well, so you don't always have to burn your smokes to do this. Depending on the speed that you wanna, how fast you wanna get on site. If you have a boom bot or some sonar or something like that, you can easily clear it. But the whole point is that you want to kind of go here and you want to clear this corner without peeking this angle. Now of course there's this angle as well, but this one is the important one. And in case you didn't know, this is actually a really good op angle as well. So if you ever get the op on Bind on defense, this is a really powerful angle to kind of peek. You can even go really on the edge here to get a super early little angle here that most people, especially in the lower elos, don't know about. So you can catch them by surprise really easily. The only thing you need to watch out is of course that nobody walks up from garden here. Now, to enter this is quite simple. You probably already know how to, but I will show anyway. So you go up here, you can either curve it or you can just drop it. The easiest way is to kind of drop it. You can kind of clear this high ground if you want, right? This is wide enough that you can take wide peaks like this, right? Then you just go there and then you go here. And then you have this entire area blocked off. And then you can even jump up here and you can start create some angles. While your smoke is up here, you can start create a little bit of a couple of angles to kind of be ready to kind of maybe tap out some people. Quite easy, quite simple, and very effective. And again, it's so quick, right, that you can do, if you were a Brimstone and you did this, then you just smoked your entire team, so it's difficult for us to run forward. But because it only lasts for 4.5 seconds, Jess is the perfect character to do this. 4.5 seconds, and then this thing goes away, and now we can keep on playing here instead of having to play around the huge smoke that blocked the entire hookah, right? Same when Brimstones drop their smokes here, right? Then it's difficult for us to play that. We need to wait out his smoke before we drop out. So Jett's smoke are ideal for this. It's fast, it's aggressive, and it doesn't last so long that you're handicapping your own team by dropping a smoke that blocks us off from the site and essentially assist the opposing side. Another really good example can be, let's say that you want to take B long. So, a lot of time in B long, there might be, you might have to clear this, you might have to clear that, but the problem is that while you're trying to take fights here on site or whatever, there might still be somebody here in garden that is, hiding or doing whatever they're doing. So you want to clear garden first, and then you want to enter into B. So what you can do is that when you kind of come up here, you can easily kind of curve a smoke into the choke point, and then you can start clearing out garden as you want. And then you can, for example, position someone here. So now I'm no longer peeking this angle here, which is quite favorable for a lot of oppos want to play there. And while you're here, you might be holding this. You go here. If you want to take elbow, right, you can just smoke elbow, and you can dash to elbow, and now I can take this fight against the guy in elbow. If there was nobody here, then they just gave me elbow for free, and now I have elbow that I can play with and hold or push or do whatever I want, which is really strong. And the point, again, that the reason logically that we drop the smoke here when we're going is because if I don't, right, then I peek this back of sight, and I don't have anything to kind of cover me. And of course, while I go here, they're gonna know that if there's a guy elbow, I don't want to slow walk out. I don't want to do this, right? Because then you see how long time it takes for me to kind of go out of the blurred vision because of my smoke. I want to kind of go out from here really fast and aggressive if I'm gonna do it. Now, last one here is Bind, just a simple A execute with Jett. And again, the whole point of this is not to hard code. So now you know how to play Bind, but you don't know how to play any other map. The whole point is just to kind of realize how you can use Jett smokes in general, and then you can play around with that on different maps, right? So for example, let's say that you want to get through the choke point here, right? There might be an upper, right? This can be difficult for you to peek. On top of that, there's this angle right here, right? Which is quite a common angle for some people to push up and take from you, right? And it's kind of scary, like, if you have to kind of go up here, and then you also, like, you kind of need to hold this angle and this other angle. So what you do is that you, as you kind of come up here, you kind of drop a smoke there. That was a little bit bad, a little bit too early. So you, once again, you kind of go here, you drop a smoke a little bit close, you can peek that angle if you want, and you can go up here, take this fight, and claim it, right? If you curve it correctly, as I haven't done the 2 last time, like that, right, then you get a much better smoke in the choke point. You get to clear this, and now you know this part. Now you know this is safe, so you can focus on whatever's in front of you. Currently, boxes is blocking my LS to the right, so this is the one that's scary for me. If you want to claim, you can drop some connecting smokes, or you can just drop, you know, 1 smoke. So all you need is like this smoke for you to either go here, ideally, you know, with a team flash. Right, so you get a team flash through the wall here, or you get a bird or something like that to kind of help you with that. You go up here, you dash. Again, this is just to block this. I get some team flashes, and now I can kind of take control over lamps and this part of the map. Once again, ideally with team utility. Or you can, for example, you can smoke. You know, you can smoke here. Then you can go into the smoke, and then like you can now stop playing here with this to your back and start like clearing this part of the map. Let's say, for example, if your team is walking up from Shroud, and you can kind of help with that, and now you have kind of control over this part, and you can curve, get a smoke, not there. You can curve and kind of get a smoke into here. Now you have a little bit of a one-way that you can kind of start taking control over the window, right? Upstream up here if you want to, right? If the opposing side is coming out, and you can smoke them here, so it's difficult for them to get out, right? Stuff like that, right? Kind of keeping it free-flowing with it, like keeping it very, like, I was about to say light, keeping it very, like, I drop a couple of smokes, right? This is the first smoke here is just to block LS so I can clear this angle, and the second smoke is to, because I want to dash somewhere, is either here so I can dash to it and then peek from it, or you can also, if you want to, drop it like here if you don't want to dash onto it, but then this angle is open, or you can drop it again. You can drop it like here, and then you can dash to it, and now it's just to block this back so you can take the fight in front of you. It's just to deny simple, easy angles, so you don't have to peek 2 or 3 angles, because no matter how good aim you have, you're not going to be able to dash, headshot, flick headshot, and flick headshot, and then like take out all those angles at the same time, right? Nobody's that good unless you have an aimbot, so it's just to kind of minimize the amount of angles to keep it simple. 1 target at a time, and if you have really good aim, then that's really, really easy for you to kind of utilize. And if you know, once again, that you have some team flashes with you, you have some utility with you, then this becomes even easier. So try to use your microphone to communicate with your team to hopefully get some flashes here, or maybe there's a recon arrow so you know this is safe, but you don't know if inside is safe, so then you can take that fight for free, right? Getting that information to your team and using your team resources as well is really, really, really important for you to succeed as a Jett. Flashes and stuff is great, but it becomes so much easier if you can also synchronize this with your team. Now, I did talk a little bit about one-ways, and that's kind of what I want to focus on a little bit now. Again, I swapped map to split just because I don't want it to be how to play bind, right? This is how to use Jett smokes in general, building up some rules and some general foundation so that you can use your creativity to actually play this agent. Not just, oh, I pre-learned these lineups, these smokes, so this is kind of how I play, right? So again, if you don't want to peek the upper, what do you do? Do you just like jump out, or do you just pre-fire it? Well, of course, you can pre-fire it if you want to. You can kind of go, you can just like go back here and then like try to like take a quick shot at him. But what you can also do, of course, is you can just kind of drop a smoke, and then now you can kind of walk up and take a different angle, and you can even clear this if you're scared of that angle. Again, one-ways are quite simple with Jett, because one-ways are namely just shoot at the top so that you can see their feet. And normally, if you have elevation, so if you are under them, like, it is an advantage for you, because it's easy to create one-ways, right? Because again, their head will be higher up, closer to the roof, and because then you can smoke. If you smoke high, you can still see under your smoke, and it's difficult for them to see it. So again, something like this is a really nice one-way, right? I can see under here, but it's blocking their head height, right? If I kind of go over here, and I'm the guy with the rifle, right? It's very difficult for me to see anything, right? I can't see anything except like here, unless I pick really, really wide. And I can always see the guy's feet, right? So this is like a really good one-way if you want it, right? If you want this is a really nice one-way, and you can see under, but you're blocking like head height. And of course, you don't shoot at the feet, because you see the feet here, and then you just aim high, and then you spam it, right? Also, one of the reasons that it's really great to play Jett with a Phantom, one, because you dash close, and therefore it's nice to have the fire rate, but also because they can't see your tracers through the smoke. So for them, it's kind of like the bullets are coming, but I can't see exactly where they're coming from, so it's difficult for them to shoot back. Another one, and this is kind of like a really great way to force people off angles, is to try to do a one-way smoke here. So a one-way smoke here is that's a little bit bad. So well, it's okay if they were playing here, but if you kind of want them off here, then you could try to do something like this. You can see how I can still see like the under here, and again, the whole point of this is to try to kind of get a smoke height that's perfect, where you can easily kind of see them, but they can't see you, and that will force them off the angle, right? If there's a guy that want to play here, and I kind of come up here and I kind of drop it one way, he's forced to back off that angle. Like, he can't stay there, because if he does, he dies. So it's a way to, without a molly, to force them off. If I just smoke him, like if I just like, you know, I get a smoke like here or here, right? He can still stay here. If I smoke wrong, as we talked about, like if I smoked like here, then of course he can even like push out here and take the fight against me and kill me. And if it's not Jett, you know, he can dash or whatever. He can re-smoke and then he can dash off and do stuff like that. So one way is a really good way to not just like deny the angle, but also claim the angle for you and your team. Of course, the risk being that there are angles that they can see you from, and that's kind of like the negative side effect of one ways like this, right? Another one is over here. If you kind of go here and you curve it, you can get a one way over here, and you can block line of sight over at where they're standing. So finding like elevations and then smoking at their head height, right? When the smoke is close to them, if it's equal elevation, if the smoke is close to them and far from you, you can see under, but they can't see you, right? Because the smoke is literally right in their face. Like if I get smoked here, I can't do shit now. Like I can't even walk out here, right? So if it's close to them but far from you, you will have an easier one way. Or if they are higher elevated than you and you're lower elevation than them, it's also a great one way for you, right? Like here, for example, right? That is the ways to think about your one ways. If there's elevation different, it's great for you. And if they are, if your smoke is close to them but far from you, it's also an easy one way. Then you just try to drop it high, and you gotta and then you kind of gotta just play around with like areas to go. And the best way is just to go into a custom game and then find like smoke angles. Like, can I smoke? Can I smoke here, right? Is this a decent one way? Well, if you're this far away, you can see it's an okay one way. But of course, if you're this close and you want to push it, then this isn't a great one way, because now, right, if it's here, right, then and I one way this, and he plays far back, right, then this can become a one way for him, not a one way for me. So if I'm far away, great. If I'm close, it's really bad. And that way you can kind of play around with it, right? Okay, is this a nice one way? You know, that was a little bit too low. But I have this angle here. Can I smoke it even higher? Okay, yeah, that's much better. Like, if now it's difficult for them to kind of walk out from this angle. Of course, I need to watch out here. But this can be a nice one way. Like, oh, okay, I can have this to fuck with them to make it difficult to walk out catwalk. And that's kind of how you just want to play around with those one ways. And they're a little bit tricky. But again, the fact that Jett is so fast and so bursty with it makes it relatively easy to kind of just drop it. Compared to like a Brimstone or a Viper or something like that, this is quite easy way to kind of get the one way just going quite easily for you, because it takes like a split second to drop a smoke compared to having to like go through a whole setup process. And because you have full control over the smoke, right, you can bend it and control it, you can get the smoke exactly where you want it. If I want to smoke here, I can smoke there. If that's the smoke that I want, I can do that, right? A Brimstone will have difficulties doing that. And that's kind of how you use one ways on Jett. Now, the last part here is just how to combo this and how to be aggressive and use your smokes to be aggressive. Because a lot of these, like, you know, where you clear angles, right? Like where you drop a smoke to kind of deny an angle so you can peek another. That is not as aggressive. Of course, it helps you claim space, which makes you aggressive. But now I want to talk about the safety net aspect of this and how to kind of combo this into being good, right? You want to constantly kind of change position with Jett and use the fact that you have so much mobility so you can constantly change the angle. Remember that, you know, if you constantly peek the same angle, then the opposing side just knows, oh, okay, you know, he's always over here, so I'll just wait, and then I'll just pre-fire that one angle. So you want to constantly be allowed to change it, and you want to be aggressive, especially with an AWP. Jett can be so aggressive with an AWP compared to like a Sky, for example, who can't dash and who can't smoke and stuff like that as fast as I can. So, you know, let's say I'm holding this angle, right, and I get a kill. So I get a kill, and now I want to back off. Well, what I can do, I can just dash like this, but then the enemy team might flash and they might run after me. And if I start upstreaming to get to this angle, right, I'm very vulnerable for a long period of time. So what I want to do, of course, is smoke. So I go in here, I get the kill, I smoke myself, I go up here, and now I have this angle, and it took me no time to do it. Now I have this angle, I can then kind of take that kill. Let's say then that, okay, I'm gonna hold this angle. The opposing side might be coming. What can I do? Well, I can hold this angle, but I can also make it much safer for myself by, of course, dropping a one-way smoke. But this was a little bit low. By dropping a, let's see here if it disappears, by dropping a one-way smoke like that, and now I have this as well, where I can kind of get some free frags, right? If I think the opposing side is coming through the choke too aggressively, I smoke here. Notice again that I smoke so they can't walk. If I smoked here, and I hold down here, right, they can walk through my smoke and get under me. So I smoke here in the choke point where this wall is, so it's not just easy for them to kind of go through it, right? And that's how you want to use Jett. It's fast, it's easy, right? So if for some reason they're coming up here, and they might also be people here, I can drop a smoke there to make it difficult for them to move. Go here, take that duel, go back, reclaim this angle because it's still smoked, take that fight, and then kind of come on going, right? One way, not one way here. Well, I suppose like you can one way here as well, right? If you want to, right? Maybe you're coming back from here, you rotated from your spawn, or you rotated from B, whatever you were doing, right? You drop a smoke here. I was a little bit high, but still, right? You can get easy and nice one ways by just like, okay, now I have this nice one way here. I am lower elevation here, so I can get a nice one way here to get more frags, get more picks, and you can keep on doing that. And that's what you want to do. Use it as a safety net to kind of quickly, okay, I got my kill here in the choke point. You know, it wasn't like a super wide angle where I immediately have to dash, but even then I can smoke if I had to dash immediately. You know, back off, drop a smoke, get out, right? Quickly take your new angle, and then play from there. Drop some quick one ways, stop them from pushing through a choke point while you're taking another fight somewhere else, to then repick that angle, right? All of this kind of ways, how you kind of combine this to be a menace on Jett, because that way you have mobility, you deny ambition, you set up one ways for you to win extra duels, you use it to quickly, you know, drop a smoke here so I can take the fight there, and then I can kind of do whatever I want, right? Quick, aggressive smokes that disappear after 4.5 seconds, so I can quickly drop them down, they're there, and then, you know, they disappear quickly after, so it's not like a huge denial of service, instead of trying to do how a lot of other people do, which is kind of just smoke themselves and their team off, run out here, there's a million angles, or they drop smokes for the enemy team, or they try to do like crazy setups where they like, I'll smoke here, I'll smoke here, I'll smoke here, and then I'll push, and by the time I'm pushing, you know, my smokes are starting to disappear, right? You're not a Brimstone, so don't try to be one. Be Jett, which is what you're good at on this agent. Now that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. I hope it was educational and that it helped you. If it did, a like, a comment is really appreciated. YouTube is really hampering my channel because I have built a huge Overwatch audience, which logically don't watch my Valorant content, and because I have a large subscriber base, that hurts my videos performance, so they're not shared around as much. So if you could share this with somebody, if you think that this was educational, that's greatly appreciated. If not, then a like, a comment, or you just watching and being here is greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed the content. I at least enjoyed making it. I think Valorant content is so much more fun, and Jett being one of my favorite agents, this has been a video that I wanted to make for a very long time. Drop down your tips for other people down in the comment section. And if you have any video suggestions, thank you very much. Comment section, Discord, Twitter, all of those are a good place to drop those. And again, I have a huge backlog of other Valorant videos, how to actually counter Reyna, when, you know, she can sometimes just snowball games. Some op tricks that not a lot of people talk about. I break down some of the weapons like the Classic and the Marshall, and how to use those efficiently, and why some of them are very underrated, and how you can use those to get much better performance out of those guns during your games. all those videos, I will link them in the description of this, so you can just find them on the channel. But besides that, I hope you have a lovely day. As always, my name is Jonal. Take care, stay positive, tell somebody that you love them, and even though it's kind of cringe to say, keep the enemy in your crosshair.